Start. Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researchers Celebrity. Today we have Dr. Kamlesh Kaitholia with us. A brief introduction about Dr. Kamlesh. He has done his bachelor's in life sciences from Jivaji University Gwalior, and for masters he chose biotech and also pursued from Jivaji University Gwalior from Model Science College. Then for PhD, he worked at National Institute of Malaria Research and received his degree from Goa University. Currently, Dr. Kamlesh is scientific officer in the forensic lab and working for Criminal Investigation Department. With this brief introduction, I'll say thank you so much, Dr. Kamlesh, for taking time out for this conversation.
Thank you, sir.
So we always start our conversation that how and when you decided that you want to become a researcher.
I am frankly saying, thank you, Dr. Raja. I am frankly saying, incidentally, I'm research. After my 12th, I
Mm-hmm.
want to become a doctor, but
Mm-hmm.
some situation I'm not selected for MBBS. After that, I have done in my BSc from uh, SLB College, Gwalior. And after that, I just decided to, in biotechnology, one of the uh, fascinating subject in that time is getting job after MSc. So I just decide to MSc, take admission and started MSc. After final year exam, I'm worried about my job. So what can I do? Uh, but in that time, I have cleared my uh, ICMR JRF fellowship. So that time, two opportunities are here. One of the government teachers and one of the fellowship in my hands. In that time, teacher salary, I um, frankly say 3,500 only teacher salary. And I'm getting a fellowship at 12,000 plus HRA. So I have decided going to research because I have stipends more than four times and my salary. Or in meantime, I'm getting some higher degree. So I just decide go to research. This is my one of first of step to go my research.
Absolutely. And I think this is fantastic. In these conversation, what we discuss is that there can be different reasons, but one thing which is the utmost importance that you should know your priorities. And for all the audience who are listening to this conversation, whenever we say incidental researchers, as Dr. Kamlesh said, it is like you know your priorities, you always pick accordingly. Like, let's say if I come from a background where my family is dependent on me. Whatever I do, I'm the one who's the breadwinner for the family. Then my priorities, I might be doing like as Dr. Kamlesh said, he pursued PhD. It's not like he was not able to do some other thing. He could have done so many other things, but the researcher, the passion within him for higher education, and when he knows that whatever he's generating in his PhD is going to help the community, the society, giving them back whatever he has earned. That is the main thing, but family always comes first. So you are also considering that, okay, how can I live my dream while I can support my family? That is the most important thing. This is a great place where we start this conversation. So, Dr. Kamlesh, you cleared this very, in the most transparent way that, okay, this was your driving
Yes,
force.
yes.
Now, let's start with the thought that when you said that, okay, I'm going to join I'm going to activate my fellowship and I'll receive a degree later on. How was the journey? What was your beforehand research experience before entering to National Institute of Malaria Research?
I'm frankly saying nothing. Each and everything is learning from NIMR because in MSc degree I have training from some distillery departments. So just formality like project, but in research, I have each and everything is learned from an IMR, and I am glad to. So I'm working with Dr. Nilima Mishra under guidance in, and started my research journey in one of the my favorite work in this in his one of the project is declining efficacy of sulfadoxine pyrimethamines in northeast regions. In my one of the favorite work with Dr. Nirma Mishra and our teams, we are, we have doing a therapeutic part of the therapeutic efficacy study in this. What is the situation of the first line treatment and after implementation? So we doing a therapeutic study in northeastern region. We studies three states, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Arunachal Pradesh. We have so many treatment failure cases are present. And as per WHO guidelines, if first line treatment, more than 10% cases are treatment failure, so a current drug treatment will be changed. So in these studies, we have got more than 15% treatment failure cases in these areas. So after this study, we have one of the um, biggest change in first line treatment policy in northeastern region. Uh, this is the work with NIMR with National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. Or after that finding of this study, current first line treatments will change on 2012. And right now, before that, the first line treatment of falciparum malaria uh, in entire India is same, artesunate plus sulfadoxine pyrimethamine. After that, this studies northeastern region is a different first line treatment for falciparum, uh, artemether plus lumefantrine, because treatment failure due to the quintuple mutation on sulfadoxine. Uh, DHFR and DHPS genes is responsible for drug acting of sulfadoxine and pyrimethamine. This is the partner drug of previous current line treatments. So this is a very interesting studies on my career with Dr. Nilima Mishra.
So this is the technical part of the PhD, which is
Yes,
great. Now let's talk about the personal aspect of it. Like when people say that the failed experiments, there are obviously some experiments, or let's say for some of the researchers, they say most of the experiments fail and only few of them actually result give them the positive results which they communicate and publish. So your journey of PhD, how was that journey in terms of moving from your hometown to Delhi and then facing all those different kind of challenges, either it is scientific or it is when you are outside the institute? How did you deal with it?
has a lot of problem is facing my PhD journey. The time I am coming at Delhi, first time is coming Delhi. So first of all, my hmm, problem with some fooding and staying problem. I have first time I'm staying with some South Indian guys. He's talking with English and uh, Madrasi, but I'm not understanding very much. Coding problem is in first month I have coded taking from hotel, but I'm health problem issues are created. So I've decided to make on foods, and after that I'm happy to learn the prepare making foods and all the thing. And mm, mm, any other things is not going on,
Mhm.
going smoothly, I think.
So this is very important, like for all the audience here, that either you are actively in research or you're planning to move outside your comfort zone. So if you are at home, you are getting everything. This is true for most of Indian families, but even all around the world. If you're living with your family, mostly you are going to have your meals on time, everything well prepared. But when you are moving outside, when you are
Yes.
becoming more independent, that's when it comes, as Dr. Kamlesh mentioned. If you have not learned how to cook, that is one of the challenge. And we always say that these are the life skills as important as breathing. You should know cooking. And yes, you can have food from outside, but then again, going back to Dr. Kamlesh's point, that if you're eating from outside, your gut might not be very well acclimatized with that. And that's when you get all those different challenges. So this is one of those challenges which nobody talks about, or it's like not given the due credit as it is. The second, again, language barrier are the things when you're moving from outside India to Europe or any other part where either English is not the first language or English, again, we as researchers all know that how to perform our experiments, how to navigate and troubleshoot our experiments. If something is not working, you can easily do troubleshooting. But when it comes to live with outside world, when you are not performing your experiments, when you are not doing the lab work, when you are interacting with people, then yes, language is also one of the important barriers. And sometimes, if you have never shared a room or an apartment with some others roommates, obviously that is a different level of challenge. And all of these things are should be considered before making a decision on those things. As mentioned and has been faced by n number of our researcher celebrities, these points always come, that everyone is driven by their research, and sometimes what they do not think through is like what will be the different challenges outside the lab which you or family has to face through. Going back to the journey, like Dr. Kamlesh, how long was your PhD? And then based on your PhD, now what you can suggest, that what are the key important factors a person or a aspired researcher should consider before committing to PhD?
Uh, First of all, I am saying one first year on fellowship should be accumulatize your institutes and we choose your work as per laboratories.
Absolutely. So having your own fellowship gives you that freedom that sometimes in, and especially in this current era, when it is so futile, so fragile that the fundings are stopped anywhere midpoint. You might be not like almost about to finish your PhD, it's just like 6 months and then funding is gone. So these are the things, if you have your own fellowship, it helps you to sail through it. And also choosing the laboratories, as Dr. Kamlesh mentioned, is very important, that what are your research questions, what are the areas which you are passionate about, and if the lab you are picking has all what it takes, means either it is infrastructure or networking, whatever it is required, you have to make sure that it has everything, so that you can have, we can say that, and not very easy, but at least you are not struggling for the infrastructure or for collaboration while doing your PhD. So, Dr. Kamlesh, let's take the step now before completing your PhD. Like, let's say the last year of your PhD. What was the thoughts? Because as you mentioned that after your masters, you were like, okay, now what to do? Because it was not a very well planned, which is most of ours, life. We just keep on doing step by step, and then we find ourselves most of the time, like, or many of us most of the time, that we are not sure that what should be the next step.
Yes, in my I'm lucky. I'm saying I'm lucky because in the duration of my PhD, before submitting, I think before submitting, I get a permanent opportunities in the Madhya Pradesh government. So I'm I'm not thinking about this after what I'm doing after PhD. So I have before completing my PhD, I'm getting job uh,
Mm-hmm.
in forensic fields. In this fields, I don't know about the forensics in that time I'm doing a PhD, but I can again say incidentally I'm coming in forensic fields and working in last 10 years in this fields. I'm very interesting field. Or right now is a very opportunistic field before because in India starting BNS after IPC in this is the forensics are very important aspects of investigations because in later on some of the third degree torture like that is police given but right now is not uh, possible by police some of the human rights commissions any other things are there if you not torture anyone so the convict of offenders through the scientific investigations so right now is the opportunities for some researchers and job opportunities are more as per after VNSS.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's very important that, as you mentioned, having secured a job at the end of your PhD is always the best thing that can happen to any researcher. And this, I'll say that to all the audience whosoever are listening and happen to be in their last year of PhD, that you should open, like one thing I believe that what research teaches you that you should approach all the opportunities or your passion areas with an open mind that you should not limit yourself because your skill set, either it is experimental designing or troubleshooting or just simply being open to learn new things, should give you this freedom that you can do whatever makes you happy and still having all those other societal norms and even for securing jobs, as Dr. Kamlesh said, from therapeutic studies to uh, forensics, one thing which is common are the skills and the technology, whatever you are using. So if you are using HPLC or many other instruments, they're still almost the same, which are using. But now the question is so much changed that that skill set is going to be used for something else. And this is what
Yes.
we learn in our training as PhD. So, Dr. Kamlesh, when you had this offer, you joined it, you defended your PhD, now you are Dr. Kamlesh. What was the first thing which your peers in the CID were thinking? Because I hope, like, I believe that there are not so many PhDs among them at your level. How was that?
Uh, I, I'm Dr. Raja. I'm saying that I am not a PhD. At that time, I'm interned. In
Mm-hmm.
a lot. 90% is a person who is got a PhD is selected on that area in forensic fields.
Mm-hmm. So when you were like, starting your job, were when you were reading all those job profiles, job responsibilities,
Yes,
how confident you were based on your prior expertise or your PhD training?
I'm the that is very important things because I am working as moleculars in NIMRs and directly I am the director saying in forensics who is working in molecular fields. So I am first hand is raised. I am working as a molecular fields. So you can go to directly DNA division. It's not go to a biological examination. You go to higher divisions. So some who is working with molecular expertise. So those persons is direct come to DNA division and working with uh, in this. My expertise in NIMR, I am learning things, technologies, and some. experiment are very much helpful for my work profiles.
Mhm. So now let's take one step ahead and talk about, like, your PhD has trained you in a way that you were able to secure a job which is not the most traditional, when we talk about all these our researcher celebrities about the different job opportunities after their PhD. Based on your experience, what you can suggest to our PhD students who are still, struggling or trying to figure out that what they enjoy or what they should do.
Uh, no, enjoy that last time in PhD is not enjoyed. First
Hmm.
1 and 2 year you can enjoy, but after 2 year you not enjoy. You're planning to your futures for securing your job and other opportunities, just like the postdoc and other things. You just plan after 2 years.
Hmm.
I suggest that you plan some examinations right now. May I suggest that is lot of opportunities coming in the forensic field. So we will try to prepare in meantime of PhD.
Hmm. That is very important, and I think now with this next generation, they do know that the earlier they start looking or preparing themselves, the more chances they have of succeeding in their field.
Yes.
Absolutely, well said point. Now let's say about one thing which in research people talk about, and now these days it is coming more and more uh, evident that there are cases when a PhD scholar, after spending 2, 3, 4, 5 years, sometimes they quit on PhD, and sometimes in the said events, there are suicide cases also happening in researchers. So, what you can suggest to the researchers who are struggling or going through that phase where not everything is working and they are not feeling great or are just feeling imposters?
I suggest because that things happened in lot of with this student working with PhD and frustrated last year. Something is going, I think some supervisor, some sort of laboratory situations, some other things. But I suggest that once uh, he will prepare to uh, next journey. He will prepare for some examinations during the PhD. So he prepare for getting opportunity from other fields, just like getting job. Because the PhD is finished at 4 and 5 year. You just not working on PhD. Some simultaneously you can growing your skills, growing your knowledge for getting jobs. I think if focus on that, so they will definitely not frustrated because he can get opportunities from after PhD, during PhD. So they will, I think, not. I can say not going to stress, not going to depressions.
Mm-hmm. That is very important part, and we always talk to our audience here, saying that STEM for Society now is more dedicated to support your mental health. If you are going
Yes.
through that rough patch, and if you want us to help you, we have now a mentor-mentee program where you can have collaborations or guide. You can seek guidance from our researcher celebrities. You can apply for these, and then our researcher celebrities are there to guide you based on what they have experienced, also based on what is happening, because some of our researcher celebrities are emeritus, some of them are just like starting new fresh faculty positions. So some of them have seen this for decades, and some of them are just they have gone through it so recently that they can connect with you. The only thing which we want from you is like one thing that you have to figure out, that is research what makes you happy? If that is the truth of your life, we are there to support you, whatever it takes. So, Dr. Kamlesh, another point which is in sync with this point is about the support systems. Like some people say that they go whenever they feel the burnout, because another topic, but burnout in researchers is not very well discussed. Although there are now conversations happening that when people say that, okay, I feel burnout, I need my time for rejuvenation. So, based on what you have felt it, have you ever felt burnouts and then you were like, okay, I need a break?
Yes, and everyone is born out in our PhD. Uh, and any time, in one of the time, my guide saying that is you do needed PhD. करना है आपको PhD
Hmm.
because lab uh, in the expectation of your guides is more higher to higher and day to days. If you go to leave, his work is suffered.
Hmm.
That time he is angry really. My guide says going to some functions, you go to that functions, you come and decide to you do PhD or not.
Hmm.
So that but I think that was my learning lessons for me because he can say you can work your properly and doing some your work properly and doing some better opportunity, your focus your work and so that वो जो था वो आज मेरे को समझ में आता है कि शायद वो जब डांट था वो भी मेरे काम की थी उस समय
Absolutely.
हमको लगता
No,
है
I
कि
think.
कुछ
Yes, please.
ऐसा लगता है कि उस समय शायद हमको बुरा लगा हमको भी लगा लेकिन बट आज समझ में आता है को सिर्फ हमारे लिए ही था वर्ड
Absolutely. And I think having
थैंक यू
these
डॉक्टर
conversations,
नीलिमा मिश्रा
having these conversations with your supervisor are so important, because as you mentioned, at that point of time you might get angry. You might not understand that your mentor, your supervisor is there to guide you, is there to motivate you. They are not there to kill your enthusiasm or your passion. In some cases it's like not absolutely true, but in most of the cases that's how it works. So you have to have this open minded thing that a student, at least a PhD student, should not have an ego. There is another thing called as self-esteem, which is way different from that. And sometimes people get twinkled between those two, and then so never compromise on your self-esteem, on your self-respect, but never keep an ego also, because with that probably you will not be able to get 100% of your training, whatever you are supposed to. So that is not going to help you in any way. On the contrary, if you are there to learn with an open minded and are ready for these fierce conversations with your supervisor, with your peer mentors, because there is no way that in the duration of 4 or 5 years, there will be no conflict. Either it is between your lab mates, or with your supervisor, or with your collaborators. And that's how, when we say that PhD is a training for life. So it trains you
yes
for life. And then if you have survived it, you are a survivor. Most of us are, survivors. And whatever we learn from PhD is so translational. Either it is resilience, or it is punctuality, time management, whatnot. All these skill sets are not often discussed as that. These are the things which you actually learn during your PhD, and gives you these wings that you can fly as far as you can. Dr. Kamlesh, now coming back to the next stage of this conversation, when now people started talking about researchers and the opportunities that we globally are producing so many PhDs. but the opportunities are not very much there, or like there is an overflow of PhDs. So what you have felt and what you can share with our audience here.
Uh, I can say ki quality is work. One of the thing is quality. And what are learning from your PhD? What is the skills developed from your PhD? What can you achieve from PhD? All the thing you achieve will uh, definitely work with for your opportunities, getting job, getting some other positions, some mm, PDFs and embroids. I think just PhDs, lot of PhDs are doing from different universities, different colleges, different institutes. But what is the quality of your work? What is your what is the learning from your PhD? What is the skill developed from the PhD? That is the life changing experience from PhD. I'm saying I have my life changing experience during my PhD. I have learned a lot of things from my PhD. I am uh, some purchasing systems from uh, learning from PhD. This is not a research part, but how to procure things, how to something I am learning from my PhD. I am learning from what is the behavior from PhD. I am learning how to work with your seniors, how to work with guidance, how to communicate things, how to uh, understand with your bosses. So all the thing is learning from my PhD. This is a very helpful my career, my job, because I'm working in 10 years from forensic division, but that thing learning from PhD, they are working, they are useful for my careers.
Absolutely.
How
And
to maintain our boss and employee relationship is I'm learning from PhD.
and I think that's a valid point. Like learning all these teamwork and even the hierarchical system, you learn from there. And these are the translational skills which people often miss when they are acknowledging the research part. Another point here, which Dr. Kamlesh just mentioned, is like sometimes when you're picking your research labs for your PhD or for your postdocs also, there are different kind of settings which is not only for India but globally, that there are well funded institutes, labs which have all the infrastructure, but then also it comes with that pressure, the pressure to perform. Whereas there are research institutes or universities which are not very well funded, which have its own limitations in terms of infrastructures, collaborations. But whenever you are applying after your PhD from these two different places, what a person or an employer is seeking is what are the skill sets which you have learned, do you know what you claim, and how well you are trained for the job you are applying. So these three things have to be in sync for you to get your job. Either it is your dream job or you are going there because it has higher salaries. But again, you have to make your priorities clear and then follow your heart to that. There is a very famous saying that good student of a good school is good, but good student of a bad school is very good. So you have to not limit yourself that from where you are doing your PhD, the status of the or UNESCO, the reputation of the research institute or the university. When you appear for an interview, it is what you know, what you say that you know. And if you know whatever you are saying, and then you are able to convince them, the interviewers, you obviously got the job. That is one thing which we always say that. And again, tying back this to the PhD training, there are cases where data have been manipulated. So if you have that training, I don't think that it is going to take you very far, because sooner or later you're going to get caught, and that will be the worst thing you can do to yourself as well as to the community. Because research, once you publish a paper, people think it works. Now they are going to spend their time, their money, and their resources. And if you were not true while communicating that, you are not only wasting your time, but you are wasting everyone others who are going to use that information from your research paper. So never do that. Dr. Kamlesh, what are your suggestions and guidance to the researchers about being organized and transparent while publishing their studies?
Yes. Because your research is very important for your youth and upcoming generations, because all the data and uh, research work is transparently, not manipulated, because some people is doing that problems. I can say some my sharing my with my incidents in forensic division, in forensic science. In one forensic officers, and not say now, because uh, and some formalin samples is uh, getting DNA profiles. We are research, and we are getting samples from formalins. We are not generated profiles. Lot of methods, lot of procedure are adopted. So and generated reports to concerned departments. But in this court is going case going to high court. So high court judge is saying that this is the research published for getting DNA profile from formalin submerged tissues. How you can not get profiles? Tell me. So that research is published on paid journals and like that. So, but we are supporting, we given to reference samples and publish uh, high quality of papers in journals. We are saying defined to codes. This is not coming and due to the some changes in DNA degraded and other things are going. So if you doing this type of research, but in this type research, modifying the data, manipulating the data, that is the problematic for others who doing quality of work. So
Absolutely.
pupils are quoting that type of research. So I can suggest to someone ki you can do quality work and do not manipulate all the data. Here
Absolutely.
research is a research.
Hmm.
If you're getting negative result, this is also research. Is
Yeah.
good. Positive result is also research. It's not manipulating our data, I can say.
Absolutely. And I think that is what should be the core value of a researchers, that it is what it is. Okay. Either your experiments might follow your hypothesis or not. There is nothing called positive or negative data. It is always about the research questions about those experiments, that they were not supporting the hypothesis, and that is absolutely fine. With this, we'll say thank you so much, Dr. Kamlesh, for having this conversation with us and telling so much about different opportunities, and how all these researchers, especially the PhD student, should approach their future before accomplishing their degrees, before achieving that. And to all the audience, will say that if you want to write to Dr. Kamlesh, you can find him. Or if you want to STEM for Society to put you in touch with our researcher celebrities, please write to us. And that it was a pleasure, Dr. Kamlesh, talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Radha. This is my uh, providing opportunity to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for all the audience, stay tuned for another episode of Researchers Celebrity.